Okay, then we'll begin right now. A few people will come in very slowly and steady. We'll wait for the others to as well. Don't worry, we'll have them mid right away. So today, right now, this is our agenda today. On day one, we will begin our first introduction for myself in the business. That we'll work our way outward or downward toward the introduction engineering, computer graphics, starting Tinkercad on shapes, and that we'll have a little lunch break after 12 o'clock for 1 hour for 60 minutes. And that we'll do start as a MakerBox slicer, printer overview and first printing. And that we're going to break down is the last one is the printer materials and the purpose of these materials too as well. And the next day too as well is going to be the recycling. We're going to discuss about what type of recycling there is and how to define the term of recycling and talk about what's the definition between trash and recycling too as well. Now the type of materials too as out there as well that can be used for recycling, and that one's going to be used for another an hour. So we'll be discussing about that one too as well. Now that what does the CMC does too as well for Calcium Company, what we do for recycling too as well, that we do is available as we can. That we'll do like a demonstration for 60 minutes. Talk about how I use these process along the way, which is the recycling methods. We'll discuss that later on. Then after that, we'll have a lunch break on the second day. After that, we'll be discussing about technology, agriculture, and hydroponics, how to apply those ones. After that, examples for hydroponics or the hydroponic plant too as well. Like I got one starting right away. And after that, we'll do like a mini hydroponic system, how to actually use those methods to actually apply that with the at-home activities if you want to try to use the hydroponics. And after that, be the monologue. Okay, so I used to do my work from the high schoolers. We just do like a basic introduction of like how to use the drawings, how to use the drafting techniques, and after that, how to apply the question for introduction to engineering, including the computer drafting too as well. Computer drafting is a lot more advanced too as well, so we are going to go up to like beyond that right now. So you guys are going into the engineering concept right now. So we are going to skip all these other PowerPoints from the previous ones because that will be the introduction, being introduced to the introduction to engineering. Right now, we do have to discuss some of the other informations, which is the introduction to engineering and computer graphics. Basically, one will be the first one is the introduction to engineering is about what methods to use to approach this process, and after that, what type of first beginners do you have to use. Then the next one is the computer drafting. First one will discuss about what type of techniques you have to use for sketching, what type of sketches are out there that can be used for the foundation of that. And that next one is going to be the engineering graphics, how to apply the different tools and features on those computer draftings right away. So I did have some interesting instructors that did discuss this with me about how to apply those process along with the computer software. So it was a helpful hint that he gave me. Okay, so I'm gonna begin the slideshow right now. So right now, this is the Introduction to Engineering 105. We're just using this one off of my books. There's two books I do have on my areas. I don't use these on the website. I did took some class lectures, so I do use the books from what I have onto this PowerPoint. So there's two books I am using right now. One's the Introduction to Drafting Techniques and Drawings, and the second one is the Introduction to Engineering. So right now, this is where an Introduction to Engineering book. So the big question is, what method to use in your project right now? So this one is about understanding what type of project goals that we're trying to do right now. So for example, myself, for the business goal is to actually understand what methods to use and how to start from the customer's idea, how to go through raw materials and turn it into the final product. But before we begin to do that one, what to understand is what type of ideas, what they begin from the first beginning, from the first start. What are they looking for? Actually, we'll see here. We're at the computer graphics. Okay, one more. We're going to start from here, or do I have one after this one? Okay. Oh yeah, that's sketching too as well. Okay. So this one right here, we're going to discuss about the terminology and the definitions of it. So I'm going to go zoom through right here on the engineering graphics. So this right here is the introduction I use for the high schoolers, for the first beginners for engineering 130 for the engineering graphics. So this is the computer draftings. Most of the students, they use this to understand what type of softwares there are outside. They have to use this as the main second foundation. So the first foundation is the sketching design from the previous one. Should have gone from that one, but it's okay. Either way, vice versa. So from this one here is just the concept, like understanding what type of software you use out there. This is basically the secondary foundation to actually design your prototypes, how you make your own ideas come to life, and how to actually use different softwares that being used for that one too as well. And after they do have some unlimited libraries inside these softwares too as well. For example, material libraries, you can actually apply metal, coppers, wood materials as well, glass, ceramics. There's a lot of libraries out there too as well. Analyzes and calculation, there is a faster way you can actually use this. So instead of using the traditional way of doing math on paper for calculus and for measurements, the computer already has the calculator inside for you. So it's already been calculated for you out from the outside. So if you want to do a geometry that is much more as a hourglass, but as a twist hourglass, you can actually have a calculator, or you can actually get inside the report on there, find that calculation to see like, okay, so where do you start from the A through all these series that's being built up to make a curvature. Or another one is the now analyzing as well, how it's going to fluctuate from the temperatures that we did discuss that before, temperature, air qualities, air fluctuation, water flow, etc. So we get the idea. So the next one is going to be the make sure you have internet access. That's the biggest one. If you're okay with a hotspot, that does work on my side, but it's a little more jumpy here and there on the internet connection. If you do have on at-home internet, that's good too as well, because now you'll have a good flow of your buildup. Because again, if you're using Onshape, it will get choppy here and there because it will freeze up, take a long time for it to re-upload, and it's gonna redo it again. But if you have internet, yeah, it will run smoothly if possible, depending on your if you're using satellite or cable, I'm guessing. Most of the areas that can be used for faster upload on the softwares. So the Tinkercad right now, let's begin this right here as a calculator company. So what is Tinkercad? Tinkercad is a so Tinkercad is a free online software tool that's being used online. It is being modified from its original owners from Autodesk. Autodesk, they actually have a larger platform they use besides SolidWorks. SolidWorks is the same thing too as well, but they're in a competition from one another. But Autodesk for the Tinkercad is a first foundation and a platform easy to use for tools, and they use this around the world wide. That's being used for a lot of communities. They can use this for educational purpose, use this for as a simulation purpose. They now introduce that one next, and they use this one for as a creating ideas from this area. And also too, well, there's no restrictions onto this right here on the software. It's just straightforward. So I think we discussed about the export of the STL file. Then we went to the settings right here. We changed some modifications, which is our temperature 210. The infill is gonna be at 9%, so we're gonna print that one out. And then our travel speed is gonna be at 85 millimeters per second. Okay. So then we do our estimate time, which is okay. But yeah, that's it. So right now on this computer or the slicer, since we're waiting for this printer to actually calibrate itself, why it's taking forever on that one. That's okay. So now we're actually explaining some of these other features, for example. So we can add some or actually modify some of the features. So if I know it's my rule of thumb from the fabrication lab that they told me that whatever you do from the first beginning of your computer drafting, make sure you do it as the exact same height and distance. Because if you do it over here, it's not gonna be what you're looking for, and also your dimensions gonna be off onto that one. But again, we'll make this as the exception. So I'm gonna go over here. We're gonna click this guy once. It's gonna turn highlight blue. We're gonna go to scale. This one right here, it can be uniform scale, or you can actually do it individually, depending on what you're looking for. So right now, this is 100% as is, as the exact measurement. What happens if I go about 400%? It becomes a lot more bigger. But we notice that this is gonna take a while for it to actually modify itself. So I'm bringing it down to about either 300 then. There we go. Okay, now that we go back to reset, I'm going to go back to normalize its measurement. Okay, so what about the other ones too as well? We have the orientation too as well. We can rotate the part, so we can actually rotate at certain areas of the geometry. So I can rotate at the 90-degree angle, at the y degree angle,